The other big story that's been creating headlines, major disruptions at India's busiest airports happened. A critical software glitch in Delhi's air traffic control system triggered widespread delays, even cancellations. As per the reports, the automatic message switching system, which feeds the flight plan data to controllers, went offline. It forced a switch to manual operations. At Delhi's Indira Gandhi International Airport, over 300 flights were delayed, with Indigo and other airlines issuing advisories urging passengers to check their flight status before heading out. The chaos quickly spread to Mumbai's Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj International Airport, where several aircraft were reportedly queued for departure. Now, the disruption of the air traffic control system at Indira Gandhi International Airport in Delhi may not have been just a technical failure, but potentially the result of a malware-induced overload in automation software. Sources familiar with the matter have already indicated to CNN News 18. Sources say the agencies are probing if the failure may have been caused in automation software. Sources say the software was trying to handle conflict and possible malware intrusion attempts as well. This is also targeting system interfaces or radar synchronization modules. Sources have already also indicated that the system lacked some update and real-time backup. This is at initial stages, but we are checking how multiple ATC systems were attacked. That's what the sources had to say. They're saying the system saw a message overload. Such a surge can cripple automation by forcing controllers to revert to manual operations, creating cascading delays across air corridors. Investigators are examining whether this was a targeted intrusion, exploiting vulnerabilities in system interfaces or even radar synchronization modules. The absence of recent software updates and lack of real-time backup reportedly has worsened this entire impact. Sources have said that the pattern resembles a data flood or forced loop scenario seen in earlier malware-triggered incidents. One cyber forensic has in fact told CNN News 18 they are stressing that the findings are currently preliminary. However, if confirmed as an intrusion, it would represent one of the most serious cyber incidents in Indian civil aviation, exposing how legacy automation systems remain vulnerable without robust patch management and redundancy. Let's try and take this forward with our cybersecurity expert joining in, Mr. Jiten Jain. Thank you, Jiten, for joining in on the right stand. If I could quickly bring you in on what are the indications in your understanding that sort of hint towards a cyber attack over here?
There are three issues at hand over here. One is this, people are saying that there was an issue with the radar synchronization software. They were, sort of data flooding attacks. In simple language, you could call them, denial of service attacks. So that, system is, thrown out of gear because of systemic overload or false floods of data. Now, if that is the case, I think there are bigger question marks because usually, in such a critical system, there is a disaster recovery mechanism available where you can switch up to, restore backups, you can switch off to, other systems. This is usually done in term, when you're facing a technological failure or, denial of service attacks. Now, but there is a second, opinion which people have been making that it was not a technology failure. In fact, there was, some sort of malware attack. And then there's another claim that this is, symbolic to what happened in the previous malware attacks. Now, this is $1 million question, and I'm amazed. I'm at loss to understand anything at all because, you see, we do not have a culture of responsible disclosure in our critical infrastructure sector. People, give some source-based reports. People leak information, but there is never a, final report of what actually happened. Be it JNPT attack, be it ransomware attacks, be it AIMS. We never actually know what actually happened even after years and years.
Agreed.
Now, so people who are claiming that it is, reflecting the modus operandi in the previous malware attacks, I don't know when the previous malware attacks happened at all because everybody denied all the time everything.
Okay,
now,
so for the benefit of our viewers, before you go forward, do keep in mind they've said that the pattern resembles a data flood or forced loop scenario seen in earlier malware-triggered incidents.
So when those
for a tech illiterate like me, what does that mean?
So they are saying that, in previously also, there were a couple of malware attacks where systems faced similar issue. Some people are saying that there was GPS spoofing also going on in the Delhi airport. The people are making all sort of claims. But if somebody is saying that it is reflecting the, modus operandi of what happened in the previous malware attacks, this is what I want to ask. When did those previous malware attacks happen? Because if you had disclosed that, if you had, sort of given a white paper, people would have understood, people would have mitigated these things, people would have, stored backup. where is the disaster recovery mechanism? Where is the SOP of backups? I mean, if somebody is saying there is no backup, hang that guy. In such a and then there is a second question, whether it was an attack which was successful or somebody detected in time, and something happened in Delhi, but it has happened in Mumbai also. So it reflects sort of a pattern where maybe a single vendor who was providing services at both airports may have been impacted. So unless and until somebody makes an official statement of what has actually happened and we keep speculating, we will never learn lessons. Because unless and until you admit mistakes, you will never learn your lessons and mitigate threats. So this is my only request, that whatever has actually happened, even if you take, and if somebody is able to figure out within 2 hours that there was a malware attack of this kind, maybe they are from planet Mars. Because if this is the talent available, I'm sure why did one not they able to detect it in the time? So, people make all sort of claims, but all of them are post facto. So my only humble opinion is that please let's issue a white paper so that we can learn from these mistakes and we actually know whether it is a technology failure or a malware attack.
I do hope the authorities are listening to what your appeal is, but stay with me because we're getting in some more inputs on this very story. In inputs shared by Security Affairs Editor Mr. Manoj Gupta, what we are learning is that India's intelligence agencies have sounded an alarm over a major cyber espionage campaign being orchestrated by a Pakistan-linked hacker group known as Transparent Tribe, which is actively targeting government and military computers using an advanced spyware called DeskRat. According to top intelligence sources, the group has significantly upgraded its capabilities this year, shifting from public cloud-based delivery systems like Google Drive to dedicated private servers, making its operations even harder to trace and block. Officials say the hackers are exploiting border tensions in Ladakh and are attempting to monitor China's military movements by infiltrating critical Indian systems. The attackers are using official-looking emails like zip archives and documents that mimic government notices or intelligence briefings to trick officials into installing the malicious software. The deception is often timed with protests, security alerts, or even border incidents when officials are most likely to open attachments perceived as urgent updates. I want to take that forward with Jiten, who continues to stay with us. So Jiten, what's your understanding of these kind of possible attacks being directed by Pakistan? There's no enemy territory which is not done this earlier. I'm sure you'd agree with that.
No, you would be surprised.
What are the ramifications? What are the ramifications?
No, I know this group very well. It was us, during one of the conference Ground Zero Summit 12 years ago in 2015, we exposed this very group, Transparent Type. We know that this is a highly sophisticated group run by two, brothers in Pakistan. Their name is Sajid and Abid.
Okay.
They've been operating from last 12 years. I myself have given these reports to security agencies. Their identities are known. I show them every year at National Police Academy during one of the awareness sessions. These people have been operating without any, punishment or, any sort of, FIRs being filed in India from last 12 years. Now, another lesson what we can learn, the identity of this group is known, their activities are known, the people and their, sophistication is known. We must maybe, hand over this case to NIA. Let's file a charge sheet. Let's create a dossier and expose these people to the public.
Are we lacking the systems to crack down? Are we just quick?
They've been doing it from last 12 years. They've been doing it from last 12 years. In 2015, they targeted almost 3,000 military personnel. So they have been running it without an impunity. There is no cost imposed upon them unless and until you start imposing some sort of cost.
Thank you for giving me the answers. We know now why the systems are coming to a screeching halt. Perhaps authorities need to swing into action. But that's all I have for you in this edition of The Right Stand. Thank you so much for watching.